A bizarre police chase in North Jacksonville ends with 3 JSO officers in the hospital.
So police say this guy tried to run over an officer, rammed several cruisers, causing one of them to actually flip over, and then punched an officer right in the face. It happened Wednesday night in North Jacksonville, and it all ended on I-295 near UF Health. This man right here, John Sanford, is tonight behind bars. He now faces 11 charges, including aggravated battery of several officers. On Your Side's Eric Alvarez is live tonight with the details. Eric?
Yeah, right around midnight Wednesday night, Anissa Court, a normally quiet cul-de-sac, lit up in flashing lights. JSO officers tried to pull over a car for an expired tag. That driver tried to get away, realizing there's no place left to run. That car instead drove straight into those police officers. JSO says 52-year-old John Sanford stared an officer right in the eye as he rammed into the patrol car, narrowly missing one officer who'd gotten out. You can still see pieces of the wreckage in the street. Now I'm going to use these camera glasses here to show you what happened next. Sanford then led police on a 3-mile chase. Along the way, slamming into a cruiser so hard it flipped over. Now the chase ended here near 8th and I-95, but the struggle was far from over. Police say Sanford tried escaping onto the interstate and crashed into a patrol car, then drove back the wrong way down the on-ramp and slammed into another. I'm shooting this video clip through a piece of plastic or glass, can't really tell what it is exactly. It's from an automobile, and you can find debris like this all over the on-ramp. Now if you walk down to the on-ramp, you can see some tire marks here appearing to show some vehicles turning, which coincide with the police report. And as you make your way down from the turn marks, if you look here in the grass, you can see multiple pieces of cars. Kind of tough to say exactly what that is, but they're everywhere. But the wreckage didn't stop the violence. JSO says Sanford punched an officer in the face, splitting his lip and knocking out a tooth. Then he continued kicking and flailing at any officer that came near him. Officers had to tase him to get him into handcuffs, and by the time the dust settled, JSO got him into custody, but 3 officers were taken to nearby UF Health for treatment. So what exactly led up to all this? Only Sanford knows that for sure, but JSO says after the arrest he was not answering any questions. However, according to the police report, officers did find a glass crack pipe in his pocket, and First Coast News found over 24 arrests in his criminal history. Live in Northwest Jacksonville, Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.